Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today we are going to concentrate on the following questions. So remember that you are going to face solve for X in one of your exams, in one of your tests. So I just decided to continue with solve for X, and I won't actually repeat any question. So please make sure that you watch other videos based on how you can be able to solve for X in different scenarios. So I'll just start by making sure that we solve this particular question 1.1.1, and that will be x squared minus x minus 20. So remember, I told you last time that when you get a question like this, it means that you should be able to come with factors that when you multiply, you should be able to get negative 20. So let's say that the common factors that of 20 will be maybe 5 and 4. So when you multiply them, you should be able to get 20, but this time it should be negative 20. If you make this a negative, then it means that this will definitely be equal to 20, but when you add them, you are going to get a positive one. So be careful when it comes to that, because it's actually vital for you to be able to know which number to get the negative and which one to get the positive, or maybe both should get negatives if maybe this was actually a 9 or something. Anyways, now we can actually change this to a positive and this one to a negative, meaning that when we say negative 5 plus 4, then we are going to get a negative 1, and that will definitely be it up there. And then when we multiply them, we are definitely going to get a 20, right? Negative 20. So meaning that our equation will definitely come to this. The plus of 4 is equal to 0, and then after that, this implies that we can now take everything out and say x minus 5 is equal to 0, or x the plus of 4 is equal to 0. So with that, it means that you can take the number negative to the other side, and then x is equal to 5, and then and then you take this to the other side, x is equal to negative 4, and then you're done. So then you definitely get your 3 marks. So this is actually the simplest question. You should not even squander your time trying to think about that. Okay, make sure that you understand how it works. You understand how you can be able to deal with it. So now we can go straight to the next question. And with the following question, you can see that they said that make sure that when you're solving for x, make sure that you place your digit to 2 decimal places, meaning that they are just telling you that go and use a quadratic formula. So you just have to rush into it and write down the quadratic formula and solve the question. So our quadratic formula is x is equal to negative b, the plus of or minus of the following. So just want to make this long, and then b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, right? All over 2a. So with that, it means that you can come down here and say, okay, this is supposed to be our A, this is supposed to be our B, and then this one was C. So it means that x is equals to negative, and then B will be negative 2. Then plus minus, right? B negative 2 minus 4, A will be 3, and then C, our constant, will be negative 6 all over 2, and then A 3, right? So then our next step now will be that our x is equals to negative, and negative will give you positive 2, and then plus minus. So I'm just going to compute this. Negative 2 square will give you a 4, and then the minus of, right? So I'm not going to use my head to calculate those ones. I'll just say negative 4 times 3 times negative 6. this will give us a positive number. And then with that positive number, now we know that we are going to have, so this negative and this negative will make this one a positive number. So don't get confused or punch everything in your calculator. You're going to get 76 as given, right? This and this will give you a 6, and then it means that your final answer will be x, which is equals to 2 plus or minus the square root of 6 all over 6, right? So from here you have to decide that you are actually looking for a plus and also, you know, a negative digit, and also make sure that everything is corrected to decimal places. So I'm going to punch this one out, and then also I'm going to punch this one out in my calculator. Let me just say the plus and then 76 all over 6, right? So here I can remove this and say, okay, you know what, this one will now be negative, because it was just plus minus. So this one negative and this one positive. So this x here will equal the following, and then this x here will equal the following, right? So I'm going to use my calculator because that's what we can actually use at this point. So I'm going to erase everything and then punch in 2, and then minus, and also remember you have to divide everything by 6, minus the square root of 76, right? And then this divided by 6 is equals to, and then make sure that you get this into decimal. So here we have negative 1,11. So if you check here, we are counting 1 and 2, and then the next digit, the third digit, is actually greater than 4.9 something, or maybe it's actually greater than what can I say, 5. So it means that we have to carry 1 here, and this will be negative 1,12. So if you get any number that looks like this, 1,1149, right? So you cannot actually carry anything, since this one is not actually equals to 5. But if you get something like 115, 116 upwards, it means that you can actually carry 1 to these other digits here. And then I'll just move to the next part. I'll just move to the next part where they said that we should make sure that x is equal to 2 plus, right? And then that will be as follows. So I'll just go up and change the plus sign and then apply that. So meaning that here we have 1.7, and then there is 86. So this is above 4, so it will be 179, and then you're done with this question. So that's how you can be able to solve this question. Very straightforward, very simple, right? So let's move to the next question, where they said that you have x minus 1 and then squared greater than 9. So this is very straightforward because you have to expand this. After expanding this, you can add a 9. For instance, x minus 1 squared is just something like this, meaning that you can expand this, and then this is greater than 9. So now you can start multiplying your variables. X and x will give you x squared, and then x and negative 1 will give you negative x, and then from there you have negative 1 and x, that will be negative x, and then you have negative 1 and negative 1, this one will give you a positive 1, right? And then you take your 9 to the other side, this will give you negative 9 greater than 0. So this implies that x squared minus 2x, then this will give you negative 8, which is greater than 0. do not forget the sign greater than 0, because if you say equals to, you're going to get it wrong, right? So now we have 8 and also 2 common factors of 8 that when we multiply them, we are going to get a negative 4 times 2. And then since this one is negative, let's make this one negative, so that when we add them together, we are going to get a negative 2. But when we multiply them, we are going to get negative 8. So it means that we are still on the right track by using 4 and 2, right? So now I'll come down here and say x greater than 0, and then the first one will be negative 4, then the other one will be the positive 2. And then with that, we know that we're supposed to take everything out and and get our x values. So the thing is that you can see that you have let me change the color for you guys. You have the following: x plus 2 greater than 0, and when you take this out, it will definitely be a negative, meaning that you are allowed to say x is less than negative 2, right? And then you come this side, you'll see that you have x minus 4, which is greater than 0, and then this will be positive, and then that will stay positive. So most of the time, I used to cram mathematics, but I don't know if it applies. So when I get a negative and also a positive, I used to say that, okay, negative 2. I used to start with negative 2, and then I'll say negative 2, and then less x less positive. So this is how I used to write it, and I was getting the answers right, you know. But I hope that I did explain everything according to what you need. Thanks. I just have to continue with the other one. Let me erase everything and then continue with the other question. Now we are given the following equation where we know that there is a square root. Sometimes you can actually try to solve it with a square root, but I just want to show you the best way to solve it. So you have 2 square root of x plus 6 plus 2. So since this one is not actually inside the square root, you can take it to the other side, and you're going to get 2 the square root of plus 6, right? Which is equals to x minus 2. So in order for us to erase the square root, we have to square both sides, right? By squaring both sides, it means 2 to the exponent 2. 2 to the exponent 2 will give us a 4, and then 2 to the exponent with a square root, it will give us the cancellation. And then we'll be left with x plus 6, and then which is equals to x minus 2, and then x minus 2 after expanding it, right? So this means that we have what? 4 times x, that will be 4x. 4 times 6, 6 twice is 12, twice is 24. So this will be 24. And then this is equals to, then x, and x will give us x squared, and then x and 2 will give us a negative 2x, right? And then in continuation, it means that negative 2 and x will give us negative 2x, and then negative 2 and negative 2 will give us a positive 4. So let's go down here, right? So this is negative 4, we know, but I just want to write everything down so that we can continue with the solution. So this will give us x squared, and then the minus of 4x, then the plus of 4, right? 4x plus 4. Okay, so now we can continue and say, okay, let's rewrite this equation, this one, and then make sure that we take this one to the other side, right? So that will be x squared minus 4x, right? Minus 4x. I just want to rewrite this minus 4x, and then this side, when we take this to the other side, we're going to get minus 4x, and then we take 4, which is the plus of 4, and then minus 24, right, which is equals to 0. Let's try to simplify this. X squared minus 4, sorry, minus 8, this should be 8, minus 8x, and then the plus of what? The plus of 4 and negative 24 will give us a negative 20, which is equal to 0 still, right? Now we have to come with common factors. Remember, something that we can multiply, but when we add, we get 8. That will be what? 10 minus okay, plus 2, then this will be minus, and then this will give us negative 8, and then when we multiply them, we are going to get negative 20, correct? So this will be x minus 10, and then x the plus of 2, which is equal to 0, and then x is equals to 10, or x is equals to negative 2. So we are done with that particular question up there, and I hope that you did enjoy the solution, right? So I'm just going to erase everything on the calculator and then erase everything on the board, and then now I can complete the simultaneous equation. So with the simultaneous equation, we only have two equations, right? We have this and this. So it's up to you to decide which one you want to create as your equation 1 and the other one as equation 2. So remember that it's up to you, that will always be up to you as a person on how you can be able to deal with it, right? So for now, I'm just going to take this one and say 4x the plus of y is equals to 2. So if I make my x to be, the leader, I can say x is equals to, and then I just simplified it too much, but nevertheless, 2 minus y, and then all over 4, right? So this is the case, and I can make this one equation 1, and then the other one will be 4x, the other one will be 4x, and then the plus of y squared is equals to 8, which is equation 2. So let's say that 1 into 2, so substitute equation 1 into equation 2, so then it means that we're gonna have 4, and then we know that our x is 2 minus y all over 4, right? And then the plus of y squared, and then take this to the other side, this will be negative 8 equal to 0. And then this 4 will cancel this 4, which is very helpful, and then we'll be left with 2 minus y, the plus of y squared minus 8, right? So with this, it means that we can now simplify our equation and get our values. Plus 2 and negative 8 will give you a negative 6, okay? And then this will be y minus y, and then this will be y squared. So I was just trying to rearrange them, So at the end of the day, we are going to have y squared minus y minus 6, right? So and then with this, what factors can actually give us a negative 1 when we add them as the factors of 6? 3 times 2 minus When we add, we're going to get a negative. So these are the ones that we should actually use. So x minus 3, and then, sorry, we are using y. I'm used to x now. Y minus 3, and then we have y the plus of 2, which is equal to 0. And then the final ones will be y, which is equals to 3, y which is equals to 3, or y equals to negative 2, right? So that's how it works, that's how it works, that's how it works. So I'm just trying to erase the board so that we can get an area where we can be able to write everything. Okay, so we have y equals to, let's say y1 equals to 3, and then y2 which is equals to negative 2. So with that, we can now say that in order for us to get x values, x1 and also x2, we can just substitute these into equation 1, which is equals to 2 minus, and then this will be 3, and then all over 4, right, which is equals to 1 negative 1 over 4. So this will be our first x1, which is negative 1 over 4, and then for x2 we are going to have 2 minus 2, which is going to be positive all over 4. So minus 2 will give us a 4, and then 4 over 4 will give us a 1. So this will be 4 over 4, which is equals to 1. I hope that you did actually understand everything, and also you enjoyed the video. So the thing is that my apologies about the space, I just have to work on it. I hope that you do understand and you enjoy the video. Thank you.